Welcome to our poster. Psychophysically estimated low-speed prior expectations match the encoding characteristic of neurons in area MT. Let's start with a quick summary. We model speed perception as an efficient encoding, Bayesian decoding process. According to the efficient coding hypotheses, the population fission information computed from the measured speed tuning curve of MT neurons corresponds directly to the prior distribution of speed. We also fit the model to existing psychophysical speed discrimination data, extracting the prior distribution of speed that best accounted for the measured perceptual behavior of human subjects. We found that the low speed prior expectations extracted from behavior closely match the prior distribution predicted by the encoding characteristic of MT neurons. Let's dive in with the theoretical framework. Stimuli, for example, speed, is first encoded by some sensory measurement. You can think of this as the population firing of MT neurons. According to efficient coding, the coding fidelity measured by the square root of fission information should be directly determined by the prior distribution of speed. Next, an estimate of the stimuli is formed by combining the likelihood informed by sensory measurement together with, again, the prior distribution of speed. In a typical 2AFC experiments, we have both the reference and a test stimuli at different speed level and contrast level. We apply the observer model to both of them, obtaining an estimate for both the reference and the test stimulus, choosing the one with the faster estimate as our response. Repeating this process for each trial and different experimental conditions, we can predict the psychometric curve of human subjects. In fact, this is exactly how we fit our model to the data. We parameterize the prior distribution used by the model together with some contrast-dependent noise parameter. We fit the model jointly to 72 contrast and speed conditions through maximal likelihood. The solid blue line is the prediction by the model, whereas the dotted black line is a Weibull fit to each individual conditions. The model performs well, having a similar performance to a previous less constrained Bayesian model. Furthermore, qualitatively, the contrast-induced slow speed bias measured by matching speed, which is the ratio of test and reference at the point of subjective equality, is also well captured by the model. Similarly, the Weber's law-like threshold behavior, meaning threshold increase as a function of reference speed, is also well captured by our model. Next, we look at the neural encoding of speed. We look at a data set of large electrophysiology recording of 480 MT neurons. For each neuron, its firing response to a random dot stimuli drifting at different speed is recorded. We first fit the log-normal tuning curve model to the neurons. Assuming a Poisson firing model, the fission information of each neuron can be analytically calculated. Further, assume an independent noise model among the population fission information is then a direct sum of the individual neurons, which is represented by the solid red line here. The gray line here shows 25 example neurons. As you can see, in the log space, they roughly tile through the entire space in terms of the encoding. The normalized population fission information can be used as a proxy of the prior distribution of speed, should the population is indeed efficient. Next, we compare the behavior prior extracted from psychophysical data and neural prior extracted from MT encoding characteristic. When plotted in a log-log space, they all have a consistent linear form. This means they all have a functional form of power law prior. The exponent of the power law is the slope of the linear line in the log-log space. As you can see, they all have exponent close to -1. Next, to perform a more quantitative comparison, we use the neural prior directly to predict subject psychophysical behavior. Only the contrast-dependent noise parameter is fitted. Comparing this model to full model fitting the behavior prior, we found that the model performance measured by cross-validated likelihood are not statistically significant different. To conclude, we showed that a power law slow speed prior can explain both the encoding characteristic of MT neurons and the psychophysical behavior of human subject. Both are consistent with the prediction of the efficient encoding Bayesian decoding model. I would like to thank the members of the CPC lab and fundings from the University of Pennsylvania for this work. Thank you for listening.